Building the Philippines finally went solar.
Hello everyone!
Hi guys, today's video is about our solar update.
Finally!
It's been a long time to get to this point. Long-time viewers know that I've been skeptical about solar for a long time just because of the return on investment. You guys also know that we've had 5 companies do site surveys and trying to get the best price and really wanted to be thorough, and that's probably because I didn't know anything about solar at all. So I was just getting an education. It's a lot of money to lay out front. And with that return on investment being so high, and I think at the highest, it was 15-year payback. It was just too long.
Yeah.
So we kept working the price and trying to get it down and bringing up different companies. And we have just under 8 years our return on investment. So I think we did a good job, and this video is to kind of go over the specifics of the system that we chose. So the big question is, why did we invest in a solar system for our house?
Brownout.
That's an easy one to answer for us.
Yes.
We just can't get used to having brownouts on a regular basis. It's very frustrating, and it's something that we just can't ignore. And we figured it would make sense to have our own system, solar system, so we don't have to deal with the constant brownouts.
Yes, definitely.
They always come at the wrong time. You know, I'm getting ready to watch a great movie. Wilma makes popcorn, you know, all excited, sitting back, get my recliner in the right position, and electricity goes out, you're sitting in the dark. Or the electricity goes out in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's another one that's very frustrating. We don't use aircon here at the house. We have air cons installed, but we very rarely turn them on, if at all. But we do have a fan in the bedroom for air circulation. So when the electric goes out, the room gets hot.
It gets hot very fast.
It gets hot fast,
Yeah.
and you just start sweating, and you know it's going to be a bad night just because you start sweating right away. So the reason why we invested in the system was primarily because of brownouts. So now it's only an added bonus that the system is going to cut our electric bill way down. By how much, we don't know. We're going to assume by about 90%. And let me explain. We went with a 5,000 watt system that can expand up to 6,000 max. We have one battery. It's a 10.2 kilowatt, 200 amp hour battery. And we have 10 panels on our roof, each at 550 watts, so 5,500 watts. Obviously, with the wires losing some electricity through resistance, and the panels are never going to be at 100% efficiency. You'll never get 5,500 watts out of 5,500 watt panels. You'll get less than that. They said you'll get in the high 4s. And we've got as high as 5,000. We've seen 5,000 a couple of times. So direct sun, no clouds, midday, we will get about 5,000 watts in our 5,000 watt system. So we believe it's right size. The battery itself is usually topped off by 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, it's at 100% at 10 o'clock. And we have the battery set up where it handles the house first and then tops off the battery second, because we want to lessen the cycles. The battery has 6,000 cycles, so about 7-8 year life. Hopefully we get more than that, but that's what the manufacturer says, about 6,000 cycles. So we feel the system is right sized for us. It actually produces more than we need because the battery is fully charged by 10 o'clock. We feel there's no need to add panels or add a battery just because we just don't use a lot of electricity.
No, we don't.
We've been averaging about 4,300 pesos of electricity. That's about $78 per month. So what is that going to go down to? Say $5, $10 a month? That seems like just an added bonus. So let me explain how we hook the system up. Our 2 hot water heaters uses a lot of wattage. Our multi-point for our master bedroom that does both showers and the sink, hot water and all 3 devices at the same time, that burns 6,000 watts by itself. So that's hooked directly to Noriko because we have a hybrid system. At the same time, our spare bathroom single point hot water heater for the shower, that's 4,000 watts all by itself. We have that hooked to Noriko. So when we take showers every day, we are using the grid. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. To have a system large enough to handle the hot water heaters, I would have to spend a lot more money, and I didn't want to do that.
It would be almost double.
It would be almost double to be able to handle that because it's 5,000 watts to handle everything else. And I would need 10,000 watts if we use the showers at the same time. Or if we just use one shower at a time, that would be 6,000 watts. I would have to double the system or double the cost. Didn't make sense to me. And our air cons are also hooked to the grid. So we turn the air cons on, we're using the grid. So we will always be using some electricity. That's why we won't zero out, and we'll find out.
Yes.
We'll show you our next bill. Our next bill, I think, will be split 50-50, but the next month, we'll show you how much it came down from 4,300 pesos to probably 500 pesos, maybe 1,000 pesos. So that's just an added bonus.
Yeah, so
right?
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. So today I'm going to go up on the roof. I'm going to show you the system, kind of go through how the wires, navigate through our house. I'm going to do my best to explain the inverter and how we did some of our settings, show you the battery, the automatic transfer switch, kind of go over a little bit about the hybrid system. So at least it gives you guys a little idea of why we chose the system that we did, and then kind of show you how they hooked it up and how it all operates and all integrates. It does work under Wi-Fi, so when I show you the display panel, that gives you all the pertinent information you need. All that information is on your phone as well. So anywhere you have Wi-Fi, I could be anywhere. I could be in the US as long as I have Wi-Fi, and I can tap into the system and see how many watts my panels are producing at that moment, how many watts it produced for the day. It tells you the house, how many watts it's using, and it will also tell you the state of your battery in percentage, just like your cell phone battery. One point I want to bring up that I don't think I've ever seen on any YouTube channel is you do have a minimum charge, even if you're totally not using any electricity from the grid. The electric company charges a minimum buy of 20 watts. Have you guys ever heard that before? I'm going to show that on the panel in the update today. So I think that's just the cost of your electrical panel. That's what I think, your meter, because that is digital and it probably takes 20 watts to operate that. That's what I'm assuming. So even if you buy this big elaborate system that totally handles all your electrical needs and never switches over to the grid, you're still going to get a cost just because you're going to be fed in 20 watts. Like I said, I'll show it to you. So I want to make sure you guys knew that as well. So first up, let's go up on the roof and get started with today's update. All right, so you can see there's definitely some clouds overhead, and we're still producing more electricity than we're using right now in the house. But here's where they position the panels. We got 4, 4, and 2, so 10 total panels. They're 550 watts per panel, all hooked in series. So the grand total is 5,500. Now that's obviously producing at 100%. We all know with resistance And we know with the cloudy days, it's never going to produce 5,500 because you're going to lose a percentage through the wires, through resistance. But this is the first time I've been up on the roof, other than just seeing the photos from the guys. But you can see, one of the things we did for typhoons, and I've mentioned it several times, is we have these firewalls up higher than the metal roofing. And that's all to block the wind. We don't want the wind to hit the roof. We'd rather have the wind hit the firewall. So you can see there's firewalls. The cement sticks up above. So you can see how high it is there, a couple of feet. So that does, to some degree, block the morning sun for a while. So we start producing about 7 o'clock in the morning. I would imagine without these concrete barriers, maybe an hour earlier. I don't know, I'm guessing. But I guess as long as we're charging the batteries to 100% every day, it doesn't matter. And you can see how they tilted the batteries here in the back up a little bit. So it faces, this is east, this is south. So I'll call this southeast. So the panels are pitched up just a little bit to try to catch a little more sun. But these are our panels. And the best thing that we did, and this is for any new construction out there. Do you remember the conduit I said that I had the electrician run when the house was being built? And then I said we were going to have a 1-inch conduit go directly into the panel empty, and then just come up and just be sitting here for future solar, call it prep work. That saved the guys a whole day because they only was here 10 hours. They had this thing all hooked up because they didn't have to worry about finding a way to get to the panel, which according to them is the hardest part. So here's our conduit. These are all the wires coming from the panels that go down to the inverter, and then it comes up, basically up to the conduit, and then straight down into the panel. So if you guys have the opportunity with new construction, have your electrician run an empty conduit from your main panel all the way up to about where you think you're going to have your solar, your future solar. And that'll go a long way of helping those guys not having to find a way to get the wires from the panels to your all your circuit breakers. So that was a lifesaver. Glad that we did that. But you can see our 10 panels. Very easy to add panels if I wanted to. You can see I could put another one here. I could put another one there. I could add more back here. Now you got to be careful not to put more than what your inverter can handle. So I don't think we need to. We're charging our batteries usually before lunch. They're at 100%. So these 10 panels are doing just fine with charging our battery. Now, if we added a battery someday, which again, why would we need to? Because we're only using 40% of the battery at night. In the morning, when we wake up, the battery is still at 60%. So again, I don't think we need to change this system or add to it. It's doing exactly what we want. They also wanted to make sure that these panels was up a little closer to the front of the house because of those trees right there. Because the sun does come up right over Sycamore, basically where that big tree is. And it comes up and then sets right there over those coconut trees. So we get shade starting back here like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then like 4 o'clock we're here, and then we start to get shade. So definitely wanted to have them a little bit closer. So there you go, our 10 panels. So everything that is available here on this display on the inverter is also available on your smartphone. You can get the same information. But I'm going to go ahead and just quickly explain how this works. So there's really 4 bits of information here. So the first item is your panels itself. So if you touch it, it's touch screen, it shows you how many watts currently at the moment your panels is producing. So see, it says 1391, 1386. So right now it's full clouds. See out there, it's cloudy. It looks like the clouds may break up a little bit, but basically it's a cloudy day, and we're producing 1,371, 76. Obviously it goes as the sun goes in and out. So that's what's producing right now. Hit the back button. Now this is our home. So right now in our house, we're only using 362 watts. That's what we're using right now. So we have, I think, 3 fans on. We got some lights on in the house. So we're only using 360 watts, 363 watts in the house. So there's a surplus. So the surplus is 1,023 watts. So that's what's being put into the battery, even though it's cloudy out. You can see basically the entire sky is light clouds, dark clouds, but yet the sun is coming through a little bit. So even on a rainy or a cloudy day, you're producing electricity. So you can see here where it says power, we're actually putting 1,124 watts into the battery. And it shows it right here. So the battery right now is at 90%. Now I've been running the pool pump all morning, so that's why it's not at 100%. So right now our battery is at 90% full, and that's with me using a lot of electricity this morning. Now here is from Noriko, and my understanding, and I've never heard this on any other YouTube channels, maybe it's out there, I just never seen it. I believe you have to buy at least around 20 watts, and that's probably to run your meter. So see where it says you're buying 19 watts? And again, I think that's just using the meter, because the meter is digital. So there is always going to be a small bill coming from your electric company if you have a hybrid system, meaning that this is tied to the grid as well as your system itself. So you can see it just averages right around 20 watts. And I'm assuming that's to run the meter out there. So all this information is available. You can see the battery just went up to 91%. Now if we're running at 1,796, and that's because we're in the little thinner clouds, I'm assuming, not as dark. You can see some of the clouds are darker than others. So it's really live. As a dark cloud goes over between your panels and the sun, it'll dip down. I've seen it in pure rain where it was real dark. It was running between 500 and 700 watts. So you're always getting something. But if you don't use a lot of electricity, like I've said many, many times, we're only using 364 watts in the house right now. Now, obviously, if we turn on, everything in the house, that'll go up. The pool pump is about 1,200 watts by itself. If you turn the microwave on, that's going to, jump it up about 700-800 watts. Each TV is like 300 watts. So basically, the 367 watts is our 2 refrigerators running for the most part. I don't think we have any lights on. I know we have 3 fans. So basically 3 fans running, and the 2 refrigerator freezers is running about 360 watts. So again, not a lot of power. So really like the way this works. It goes up to 5,000, see where it says 5.0, and I've seen it get that high. And on pure sun, midday, you'll be rocking about 5,000 watts. And then that's really the time to have your pool pump on, all your, if you want to make a pot of rice, you best to time it when you're making or producing the most amount of electricity. But again, this is running all night long. This will be at 100%. It has been every day. And we get up in the morning and it's usually about 60% left with our normal usage. So again, this information right here, all this information is available through Wi-Fi on your cell phone as well. Can you hear the rain hitting the metal roof? So that shows you that it's pretty cloudy outside and it's raining. So coming down from the panels is the lines through the conduit and comes up into the inverter, and that's where it gets converted from DC to AC, and then it comes out of the inverter back up to where I showed you the conduit was, up on the roof that goes down to the panel. So the guys told me having that was great because they would have to have had conduit in here or chip the concrete to hide the wires. So if you're not retrofitted, it's going to be a little bit harder to set up. And that's why they say it takes 2 to 3 days. They had this done in 10 hours just because they didn't have to do all that work. They just ran the wires from the inverter straight down that conduit, and they were done with it. So again, coming from the panels down into the inverter and then out of the inverter back up to your panel. So that's how it hooks up to your house to run all the appliances. And then your battery storage is here. So there's 2 ways of setting this up. And there's all the different settings here that you can mess with. But the big setting is, do you want all the power from your system? See, we're creating 1,349 watts. Do you want 100% of that to go into your battery? And then when you call on any electricity in the house, it'll come from the battery to supply your outlet. I heard that a lot of people have their system set up like that. And that's how all the different site surveys we had, every single one said that's the way they set it up. We set this up a little different, and I can show you what I mean by that. I have the panels going directly to handle our load. So we're making 1432. We're using 371. And then the balance, 1100, goes to the battery. Because I want to use this battery as little as possible, because this gets 6,000 cycles. So what is that going to be, 7-8 years? And then this battery is going to more than likely have to be replaced, I'm assuming. Can you get 10 years out of it? I guess we'll find out. So I don't want to put all 1,300 watts for this example into the battery, and then when I need 300 watts, pull 300 watts out. I want the inverter to take the 373 watts right from here, putting it right into the electrical panel and operating the house throughout the day, and skip the battery and just put the excess. Remember I said on the earlier video that I was having this debate with the engineer? So the sun must have just came out. So see, we got a little bit of sun, not much, but just a little bit of sun. And we've already jumped up to 2,135 watts using only 370. And now we're dumping 1803, which is the balance. You can see the battery jumped up to 98%. It was just 91%, guys, in real time, maybe 10-15 minutes. I was only up on the roof for a few minutes. So you can see how quickly you can charge this battery. It does not take long at all. Typically, this battery, 10.24 kilowatt hours, is usually charged by 10 a.m. Very, very early in the day. So that's how we have it set up for our house. The panels handle the load throughout the day directly, and excess goes into the battery. Now this is where all the breakers are. All the different breakers needed, and then the automatic transfer switch is in there. So what these lights are is green means that the electric company is operational. So we have electric coming in to the system from the electric company, but we're not using it. In fact, this has been on now for, I think, 5 or 6 days, and we have not once switched from the system to Noriko. Not once, because it's making enough to fill the battery. And like I said, we wake up in the morning and we're still 60% capacity. So once this dips to 25% battery, it'll start beeping to let you know that you're getting low, and it has a 20% cutoff. So when this battery goes from 100% down to 20%, you can see right now it's at 98%. When it gets to 20%, it'll shut off, and it will kick over immediately to Noriko to keep your house going. And the red light means that the solar system was working properly. So you want both lights on. Now, if the green light goes out, that means there's a brownout. And again, there's no switchover because we haven't used Noriko. We haven't needed to use it because this is handling everything. So I think it's a good system. I'm definitely sold on it. I was concerned just because I didn't know enough about it. But now that I've been a little bit educated, and the fact that it charges so quickly and is handling the load of the house, minus the heaters and the air cons, very, very pleased. So I guess the next step is to see our first electric bill and see how low it goes, because we've been averaging around 4,300. So there will be some electric bill because if we turn the air cons on, or when we take our hot showers in the morning, just because the wattage is so high. So there always will be some bill, but I would assume that 90 to 95% of our bill will be gone because of this system. All right, so now for the most important part.
The cost.
The cost. We did our best, guys. We worked it hard. Like I said, we had 5 companies come up. We went with who we felt most comfortable with, but we also went with the lowest bid. And everything was apples to apples. It was the same type of name brand for each of the items. So it wasn't like, it was different name brands for different components. It was all apples to apples. So the system that we got was 400,000 pesos, or $7,200 USD. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money for convenience of not having brownouts. But for us, it was worth it. We went with just a big enough system to handle everything that we needed during a brownout and more. Just not our water heaters and our air cons. Because again, we're trying to keep the costs down. And this bid was 150,000 pesos cheaper than the next lowest bid. So that had a lot to do with it as well. If they didn't come down to the 400,000, I probably never would have done it.
No.
We only did it just because the price was a little bit more reasonable, and we got to just under 8 years return on investment. So it's a lot of money. but it's the convenience of not having brownouts for the next 10 years. And obviously there will be a payoff because our electric bill will be cut by a lot. So over the next couple of months, I will do update videos of how the system continues to work, and then we'll start layering in our old bills to our new bills and really dialing in on the savings per month, and then we can back into that 400,000 to really show what the return is. So I hope you liked the video, guys, and don't be afraid of getting solar like I was. I think it's the right thing to do, not for everybody, but I think it's the right thing to do for having that peace of mind that you will have electricity at your beck and call when you need it.